This message is for Souflo and your beautiful wife, Shakira. I used to watch your channels together and separately for a long time. And I haven't been watching for years. To be honest with you, the last time I watched was when I heard you, Souflo, said that you didn't watch other person's channel. And I kind of found that disrespectful. I don't care who you are and how popular you are. I'm sure there's someone else's channel that you'd find enlightening. But that's neither here or there. Shakira, I'm using your expression. I decided to do this video because out of nowhere one day, Shakira, your video popped up on my notification. I didn't turn off my notification. I just wasn't getting your feed. I'm not sure why. But when it popped up, you were having a very serious conversation. You caught my attention. I think it was talking about something that happened on a live. I didn't see it because, like I said, I wasn't watching it for a long time. For no personal reason, except that comment that you guys made. Now I'm going to say this before going any further. Souflo and yourself, Shakira, otherwise known as Brains, are very creative, and you certainly know how to keep the fans engaged. And so the stories that I'm seeing might not be even real because you guys, really create taglines to catch people's attention. You've done it before where you say you're not together anymore and it was a prank. And so for all we know, this could be a prank too. But I also believe that every time people do pranks, there is a granule of truth in it. And I want to talk about it because some of the topics you do, Shakira, they're good topics, especially issues with man and woman, especially when you're giving advice or sharing your stories about the things that you learn. But I'm going to be honest with you. Sometimes, Shakira, when you do your videos, I think I'm in some kind of twilight zone. Because I don't know if you're pranking us or you're being sincere. There are times, Shakira, when you're talking, I'm feeling connected to what you're saying. Like you're actually telling the truth. And you say at times you wish someone would have told you. Now, I could be your mommy. Not sure if I could be your grandmother, but I know I could be your mom. I'm sure my children, my first two kids, might be older than you. So I'm coming to you from a mom-like perspective. And you might say, because you're very feisty, Shakira, you might just say, I never ask you nothing. Because I have generation of women who know about marriages. And if I want advice from them, I'll go to them. So I'm just saving you the trouble of saying that. And so, Flo, you might say, where you coming from with your opinions when you're not invited? Leave married people business alone. But the truth is, when you have it on social media and you're talking about it openly, people can engage. Can we agree on that? 2022 is a year of reconciliation, but truth goes before that. And we're going to talk some truth in this video. Now, when you and Shakira got together, I recognize that there is a little bit of an age difference. You're a more mature man. She's still young, never had any kids. You at that point, Souflo, had 4 children. Now, based on some of the videos I see you doing, Shakira, you're saying if you're dating a man and his kids are under the age of 5, I think, run. Well, whatever it is you're going through right now, I'm going to say that that's not even the best advice, because if a man had children with somebody and they're under the age of 5, there's so many reasons why that man could be alone. His woman could have left him, and we know this is a two-way street. His partner could have died. So because he has kids under a certain age doesn't mean that he's a bad guy. You were very young when you got together with Souflo, yes, but also you were selfish. Let's keep it real. Now, before going any further, at the time when you guys got together, I remember there was a competition. And I remember you won the competition, Shakira. You were the prize, or you won the prize. I guess Souflo would have been the prize at the time, and maybe you were. But I remember Souflo, you said there was another female that was the one that got the most votes, but she was not available. And so you went with the person who made herself available to you. She responded on time. She was able to answer the questions when you needed the response. And so she won. What I couldn't understand at the time is you were married and you had your children. And I'm going to tell you, I was watching your channel because of your family. You were married to the white lady at the time, and you had your 2 kids with her, and you had your 2 kids from a previous relationship. And so when you did this competition, I thought it was just something to promote your channel. But then I started seeing videos with you and Shakira in very romantic settings. When you guys came out and told people that you were a polygamist, there were a lot of persons who were concerned for you, Shakira, because you were young. They thought maybe you didn't really know what you're going to get involved with. And you made it very clear. You're a very intelligent person. And you're that type of person who, when you're saying your piece, you don't mince words. So I accepted the polygamy experience for you guys. It might not have been a choice that I would make for myself, but you accepted it. And when people make choices in their life, we have to accept it. But further on, we're now understanding that you are looking back and you're saying you learned so many things. And I'm not hearing anything about the polygamy life. And when you guys said you were in this polygamy marriage, we never really saw any evidence of that. Souflo, you said the polygamy life was about building wealth. And so people respected your choice. But now, Shakira, as you do your videos, you don't always come out and say, I'm talking about my husband. But if we're going to give advice, usually we're giving the advice based on our experience or that of others. So, again, because you guys are the pranksters, we can't assume that you're really telling your story or it's a real story. But it's a very real thing that people go through. I'm going to say here, when you start out a relationship on lies, it's a very difficult thing. Number one, it is not going to work out. Any relationship that starts out on a lie usually experience all kinds of problems. So we're assuming that he was already married and decided to take a second wife, which was you. Let's just work with this and just say this was a real thing. You would have known that Souflo is not a one-woman kind of man, because from the onset, you wouldn't have lied and you would have agreed to it. See, the problem is when we tell lies, When we are going through problems now, we have to keep that all to ourselves. Because remember, you're a polygamist. There's no way you could have a red flag for a man who's a polygamist, because he would have made it very clear, this is my life. This is the kind of thing that I'm into. And if you would have been okay to join that, knowing that he had a partner, assuming he had a partner, you see? Because for Souflo, maybe his ego would feel more comfortable saying that I'm a polygamist as opposed to me and my wife broke up. Because from where I'm sitting, the old story of the polygamy thing was never the truth, in my opinion. Maybe I'm wrong. But that's what you told us. And so it makes it very difficult for us to really see, well, me, I speak for myself, to see where you're coming from. You're saying a man who's emotionally unavailable or physically unavailable is something we should be cautious about. Well, a man who has the ability to be with many wives at the same time cannot be emotionally available to any of you. And setting that aside, let's swipe that across the screen and say that was a prank and that you guys were just together. Obviously, that's what the truth is. But Shakira, you can't come out now and say all your piece. You have to be going around in circles. Now, you did say a while back that you would never, if you ever had problems in your marriage, it was not something you would discuss on social media. But you're either a great prankster or you're hurting. And there's a part of me that sees these cries and kind of just say, okay, that is just a part of the performance. But then there's another part of me as a woman, as an older woman, that thinks this young girl is crying out. Souflo, you have presented yourself as a family man, but your track history is questionable. You have the first two boys with a black lady. You have the second two children with your wife, first wife. I don't know if it's a first wife or not, but the white lady. And now you have two children with Shakira. It's making you look like a real polygamist. But the family man part that you present to the world is questionable, because your wife is crying out and she's saying, see me and come live with me is two different things. We all know that. This is not to bash you, Souflo. This is to just really reason. Lady is saying she's on her own doing this. And whether she signed up for a polygamy situation or not, it can't be a good place to be in. But Shakira, it just makes me ask the question that, how were you feeling when you realized that his ex-partner had to be raising their kids alone? Sometimes as women, we're very selfish, whether we're young or not. And I say we. So this is not an attack on you, Shakira. We say we because we don't ever think about the other woman when we are in the driver's seat or the passenger seat. When we get the prize, because a lot of times as women, you know, we fall in love with a man. We don't care about who he's been with and sometimes who he's with at the time. We're just thinking about the joys and the comfort they give us. And then we find out that the experience the other women endured are the ones that you have to endure too. Souflo, Shakira is a young woman. And when you got together with her, I remember shortly thereafter you were trying to get her pregnant. I remember when she did that first pregnancy test and it was negative. You were so disappointed. You could see it on her face. You pressured her into having children. So how could you, assuming this is not a prank, how could you have her with these children and not help her? Just kind of leave her alone to figure out things on her own. That can't be right, brethren. You're working together and you're building each other, supporting each other. It's a beautiful thing. Souflo, both of you look so much alike. You could be family. So when you guys got together, regardless of your polygamy story, people accepted you. People like Brains and you together. But can I be honest with you? I thought you were into white women. I didn't really think. I didn't think you liked black women, although you had two children with a black woman. I just thought you were more in love with white women. You would go out with Brains, and when you're on the beach with the kids, you would have your camera zoned in on the white ladies on the beach up in their front. Used to do the same thing to Brains. You felt so enamored with her, it seemed. You'd zone in on her bottom. Shakira, that was a red flag. You were zoning your butt, zoning on your boob. You were so sexy. Men are very fickle. 1 minute they're into you and all over you, and the next minute they get tired of you. Souflo, look like you get tired of the women very fast. It just seems like once they're onto the second baby and stuff, you lose interest. Is that so? Because I might be wrong. Somehow, your wife is crying out. And Shakira, you act so tough, but you're not as tough. And because you're not as tough, sometimes you might be going through things and you're going through it alone because you present this kind of facade that I'm this strong black woman. It's okay, to say I'm hurt. Perhaps if you say it that way, maybe you guys can sit down and really talk about the issues that you're going through. Because it doesn't mean that this relationship is going to end or it cannot get stronger. A lot of persons are in marriages and the first couple of years of marriage is rough. Because the honeymoon always ends. Don't make anybody tell you any different. Honeymoon come to an end and it's up to you to rekindle the embers and let the fire burn again. It's not late. But it's time to tell the truth. Stop with the facade and the lies. You guys start out on a lie. And because you did, now you're having the little, hiccups in your relationship. You can't come out and say, look here, this is the deal. But you need to talk. And rightfully so. Sometimes having a platform give you the opportunity to just vent. And I respect that. Souflo, you have to do better. Because if you are okay with her putting a storyline out there that's not true, then that's not our problem. We're going to assume that she's telling the truth. That you're not there for her emotionally. You're not there for her physically. I'm not sure about financially because there's some issues that she discusses that makes me question that too. You have to do better. You present yourself as a family man and that's how we want to see you. But if you're going to present yourself as a family man, you cannot impregnate these women and then just remove yourself emotionally. She talked about, the story about what do you have to bring to the table. These sound like conversations that you're actually having with her. And you're saying that the black woman is not desirable because she's too masculine. That's exactly what you would say. Now, the truth is, back in the time when I used to watch you Souflo, I used to get into it with you. Because if a black woman had a bad experience, for example, she met an untimely, the D word, and you start to investigate, you would not be searching the one who was aggressive towards her. You started digging up the woman's story. Brains, you didn't see that Souflo was the kind of person who was very tough with black women. I was surprised when I saw you guys going out because I didn't think you was really in love with black women. Everybody has a preference or a type. But now that you guys are together and you have two beautiful kids, my goodness, I don't know who the kids look like. They look like you, Shakira. They look like your husband. That's how you guys seem to connect very early on. This is 2022. We all have to reconcile our differences. And both of you have the opportunity and the chance to sit down and iron out your differences. It's not about you, it's about the children. So whether you were in a polygamy situation or not, darling, you obviously didn't know what polygamy was. And if it was a prank, you see, the things we say, we have to be prepared to live. So even if you were trying to trick the people, you found yourself in that situation. And people can't really curse Souflo too badly because he came out and said, I'm a polygamist. And I knew you weren't. I knew you weren't because you would have conversations about going to his work and all the girls would be all over him. And it's clear that you are not that type of person, Shakira, to be with a man who is obligated to another woman and is prepared to share his time. If you agreed to that, you were fooling yourself. And this is the result. Does it mean you guys can work out your differences? Absolutely. Can you do it for the kids? Maybe. Again, I don't know you guys personally. I don't know Souflo personally. Just from based on what I'm saying. I used to watch you guys a lot. And Souflo and I used to get into it a lot. And it was always about the way he would talk about black women. Tell the truth, Souflo. Don't bother act like you don't know me because I find you big YouTubers, you like to act like you don't know people who don't have a huge following. You're my country folk, both of you. And Souflo, you have never ever disrespected me. And I'm not going to come out here to disrespect you. But that doesn't mean I can't tell the truth. Shakira, you have a moat on you. No one can really see you as a victim because you're not. And whether your storyline about being in a polygamy situation or accepting that was true or not, even if it was true, we can't feel pity for you because that would be a choice that you would have made gladly. I'm only talking about it because I'm not going to say why. I'm just going to say that I wish you all the best in your marriage. I hope you will find time to sit down and iron out your differences instead of letting things stew. And again, if it is for the views, it's just not cute. It's not cool. I'm suspecting it's not really about the views alone. There are some things that you say, Shakira, that's deep. And I missed that live where you said you came out and told your husband not to talk about you. But you talk about him sometimes without saying his name. Speak your truth, Shakira. Find a way to empty whatever it is that you're carrying privately for your own mental health sake. And if these are lessons that you actually learn, then that's great. Try to work it out if you can. Grow and build together. But tell the truth. I'd love to see you do a video, both of you, talking about how you possibly tricked us, because it's clear that Shakira is not a female that would willingly engage in any polygamy. But the people are still out here with that impression. They don't know how to respond to what you're saying, Shakira, because you still haven't told the truth. You, as far as we're concerned, we're confused. Because how are you saying these things as if you entered into a monogamy? Saying the red flags. What red flags could there be in a polygamy situation? And what red flags could there be with a man who has 6 children? As young women and older women alike, we have to understand that we shouldn't try to change people. We have to change ourselves. Souflo loved the ladies. Souflo loved the white ladies too. He's not partial. And so if he's putting pressure on you to be more like Becky, as you call her, then it's something you have to assess. But when it comes to family, I'm all for it. When it comes to people loving each other and growing together, I'm all about that. But when it comes to people hurting each other, I feel a way, to be honest. You don't owe us any explanation, people. Souflo or Shakira don't owe us any explanation. I'm just saying, if you're going to talk about these issues and teach people about these issues, maybe putting the truth on the table would make them more willing to accept. If you say this was a mistake, I shouldn't have gotten involved in a polygamy situation, or if you say, well, it wasn't the truth, it was a lie, and now I want to tell my truth, I think it'll be received more. There's always something to learn from all of our experiences, good or bad. And Souflo, you presenting yourself as the family man, that storyline is crumbling based on some of what your wife is saying. Figure it out. Sit down. Maybe get a mediator if it's a real situation where, you probably don't hear her cries. You probably are unaware that she's feeling these things. Or maybe you shut your ears to it, or maybe you moved on emotionally. All the ladies that you've been with so far have 2 children. I'm assuming the first 2 boys are the same mom, and it doesn't matter if they aren't. I'm just saying there seems to be a pattern, and I don't know if that's a polygamy in your nature, Souflo. Obviously you love your kids, there's no dispute, but the truth is, I hear your wife calling out for more attention, more love, more help. And that is not the story you presented to us in the early years. Bless up yourself. There, don't beat yourself up on the head. What happened, happened already. And out of this relationship came 2 beautiful children. And only you can figure it out from here on out. I'm not going to tell you what to do and how to do it. I'm just sending you my blessings. And I'm just saying, in the year of truth and reconciliation, let's keep it real. And let all the other women that are watching understand that most times when we are in love, we are selfish. We don't think about the other woman, her pain, her tears. So, Flo, you weren't always kind to the other lady. You said things on your show. One day, for example, oh, you're looking good again. Do you know what that does to a woman's self-esteem? It breaks a woman's self-esteem. It hurts. Do you know what it must feel like to see you in a hotel room with a beautiful young girl that won a competition to spend the weekend with you? It would break a woman's spirit. Be kinder and be gentler, Souflo. Be kinder, be considerate. Because what you would have done to that lady's self-esteem is exactly what you're doing to Shakira. Be kind. And if you heard this happening in other person's relationship, you would talk about it. Because you always dig up the thing. You know, the woman gets hurt or, okay. And you research to find out that she had a few men. You used to do that, Souflo. Come on. And now here we are seeing your story unfold, whether it's a story that you plot or a legitimate story. And it's not making you look so good after all. Sounds like Shakira is crying out. But because she has a tough exterior, we don't get to see the pain she's feeling inside. And as was the situation with your former relationships, she's feeling the brunt of it. But I'm going to give it to her that she was young and she didn't quite understand, and you were charming and handsome. She says it. Because you're handsome, all these women, think all these great things, and they don't understand see me and live with me is two different things. Do brother, brethren. All the best. Stay blessed, everyone.